Good morning. Welcome into another morning, another day of our daily Devos in the Psalms. Pastor Rick here, and we are in Psalm 37. There's 40 verses in the chapter, and I was really excited. We were going to make it all the way to verse 20 yesterday to get halfway through the chapter, and we only got to verse 11. So I need you to do some serious soul searching and ask yourself, why did we only make it that far? There was a lot of great stuff to talk about, and I got a little long winded. We're not gonna lie about this. I got a little long winded, and so we were only able to make it to verse 11. But hey, you know what? We're not in a hurry, so I'd rather take our time and enjoy it, and really relish every verse that we can. So we're going to start in verse 12 today, and kind of my goal is to make it to about verse 24, so we'll see how it goes. I'm feeling good about this today, folks. If you're feeling good, go ahead and drop a "I'm feeling good" in the comments. That would be fun. I'd like to see how many of you are feeling good today. So drop a "feeling good," "I'm feeling good" in the comments, and like, subscribe, share, like, just help get the word out about the amazing richness that God has for us in the Psalms, and see if we can allow more people to stumble upon these videos. So here we go. Verse 12. The wicked person schemes against the righteous and gnashes his teeth at them. The Lord laughs at him because he sees that his day is coming. And I think the biggest reminder I think that we get out of those two verses is, one, wicked people do wicked things, and oftentimes they do wicked things to righteous people, and so it shouldn't surprise us, shouldn't shock us. But also, the verse 13 there, because he sees that his day is coming. There's just a, Galatians 6:9. Don't grow weary in well doing, for in due season you'll reap if you faint not. And that obviously, that verse is encouraging you to do good things, because you will reap a harvest of righteousness. But it also goes for wickedness, right? Wickedness has a don't be fooled. God is not mocked. You will reap what you sow. So we want to make sure that we keep in perspective, I think, two things. One, the fact that you do reap what you sow. And number two is that we're not here just for the temporal. We're not here just for our time here on earth. We are eternal beings that have eternity in our sights. And if we can keep eternity in our sights, then it changes the measurement of what's going on around us. And then maybe we don't overreact to things. And so, because if you think about, like, if you're kind of measuring things relatively, basically, right? So if your whole life is 1 to 10, but eternity, turns the scale, say 1 to 1,000, and the thing that you're looking at takes up 3 units, so it's covering 2 through 5, right? So it's a 3 on this 10 scale. Well, that's 30%. That's a big deal, like, whoa, I need to really pay attention to that. But if it's a 3 on a 1,000 scale, it's like barely even a tick on there, and so it's good for us to keep an eternal perspective in regards to what's going on in our lives, what's going on, excuse me, like in this case, the evil, the wicked prospering and that kind of thing. And so, perspective, right? So, you reap what you sow, and eternal perspective. Those would be kind of the first 2 points. And then, the wicked have drawn the sword and strung the bow to bring down the poor and needy. Like, what in the world? Why are they aiming at them? And to slaughter those whose way is upright. Their swords will enter their own hearts, and their bows will be broken. So, a little bit of reaping and sowing going on in those verses. Sometimes the timing isn't quite what we want. Sometimes it takes a little longer for those dynamics to happen. But we just have to stay committed to the fact that God's faithful and he's righteous and holy, and that justice is justice, and so, yeah. All right. So their swords will enter their own hearts, and their bows will be broken. The little that the righteous person has, this one's a good reminder. It's called a triple good, good reminder. Triple good reminder. The little that the righteous person has is better than the abundance of many wicked people. And really, I think, man, this just talks about contentedness, right? Like, godliness with contentment is great gain. And if we can pursue God and be content with what we have, it really takes care of a lot of really potential issues that we can face, right? Because materialism and greed and pride and stuff, they all kind of flow out of these things about, excuse me, trying to get more stuff, trying to get more attention, trying to whatever, all the different things that we might pursue. But the little that the righteous person has is better than the abundance of many wicked people. So, wow. I mean, that's kind of a thing right there. For the arms of the wicked will be broken, but the Lord supports the righteous. Come on now. The Lord supports the righteous. The Lord watches over the blameless all their days, and their inheritance will last forever. The Lord watches over the blameless all their days, so he is faithful, consistent, persistent, persevering, watches over the blameless all their days, and their inheritance will last forever. Excuse me, I will clear my throat there. They will not be disgraced in times of adversity, and they will be satisfied in days of hunger. So as I was thinking about this verse, they'll be satisfied in days of hunger. I want to say that Tim Keller is maybe the first person or place that I read this concept, and I've really adopted to it in my life. At least I continually challenge myself with it. Is am I judging God, or am I interpreting God based on how my circumstances look? Or am I assessing my circumstances based on who God is? And so why did this verse make me think of that? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Because they will be satisfied in days of hunger. So this is the blameless, the righteous, right? So these are the people that they're talking about right now. And what it's saying is, days of hunger might come. It's not necessarily a guarantee, but very likely, right? So you won't be disgraced in times of adversity, meaning times of adversity are going to come, even if you're blameless, even if you are the righteous. Times of disgrace, times of adversity are almost, I would say basically guaranteed, right? Because in this world, you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I've overcome the world. That's what Jesus said. And they will be satisfied in days of hunger, meaning days of hunger are coming. When you understand that, then when a day of hunger shows up, you don't automatically think, God, did you fall off your throne or something? Did you leave me? Did you abandon me? Did you forget that I'm here? I'm continuing to serve you faithfully. What's going on? Why is there no food in the cabinet here? But we need to judge our circumstances based on who God is, not judge our God on how our circumstances are. So we don't look at our circumstances and go, "Oh, God, you're failing miserably." We look at our circumstances and we say, "My God never fails. My God will always, always find a way for me to be satisfied in days of hunger. He will always make sure that I am not disgraced in times of adversity." And if we remember God first, God's character, who he is, then we begin to look at our circumstances differently. We react differently. We measure them differently. And that's good for everybody. Can I get an amen? If that was a good word, go ahead and drop an amen in the comments. And feel free to drop both of those things in the comments. You know what I'm saying? You're feeling good and Amen, brother. Amen. But the wicked will perish. The Lord's enemies, like the glory of the pastures, will fade away. They will fade away like smoke. The wicked person borrows and does not repay, but the righteous one is gracious and giving. Why would the righteous one be gracious and giving, right? Because we follow Jesus, and Jesus is the most generous of anyone you could ever come across. God is a generous, generous God, and so we should reflect that and be gracious and giving. And gracious and giving, I think, in America, we always think first about money, but how are you about giving of your possessions? How are you about giving of your time? How are you about giving of your expertise or your talent? So the righteous one is gracious. So that, not just giving, but gracious. So are you gracious and giving? Those who are blessed by the Lord will inherit the land, but those cursed by him will be destroyed. Pretty clear lines. Choose you this day whom you will serve. As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. That's what we're going to do. A person's steps are established by the Lord. Verse 23 here. A person's steps are established by the Lord, and he takes pleasure in his way. Though he falls, he will not be overwhelmed, because the Lord supports him with his hand. And I really, again, just kind of going back to that whole perspective thing, and your circumstances versus God. Though he falls, sometimes you might fall, sometimes you might fail, sometimes you might find yourself, scraped up and bruised by a fall. But the Lord still supports you with his hand, and you can then therefore not be overwhelmed by the situation. So, it's walking with God doesn't insulate you necessarily from being affected at times by the evil of the world, but it gives us a grid, a perspective, an ability, a grace to be able to handle it, to be able to walk through the valley of the shadow of death, but fear no evil, because he's with us. And so pretty great stuff in those verses. And I made it to verse 24. So you can just drop in the comments, great job, I'm proud of you, I never thought you would make it. No, don't say that, but say drop in the comments, great job, if you are excited that I made it all the way to verse 24. But with that, huge God bless you today. Let's be the righteous. Let's be the blameless. Let's walk and let's follow hard after God. Let's make him our priority. Love him the most, and let's be gracious and giving people. Come on now, the righteous are gracious and giving, and supported by the Lord's hand. So God bless you. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.